going on, chat? What's good? What's good? We are going live. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And let's get it pop. Oh, damn, I got the wrong thing. Let's get it popping. Yes. We are here today. Shout out to everybody who pulled up, man. It's your boy Tony D2 Wild checking in once again. Got my good friend, great friend of mine, Jacques Slade. Jacques Slade.
Jacques. I like that. Jacques.
Yeah. We got him in the building today. Chat, let me know. Do you like this view right here or the speaker view, they call it? It's the view where basically whoever's talking gets the main front, and it goes from there. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you like. If you like that or you like the gallery to see both of us, feel free to answer that in the chat, man. But we got a couple things to talk about today, and I thought why not bring Jacques on here, get a little interview with him, and then also let you guys ask your questions, but at the same time also get to know him as well. You know what I'm saying? Get to know him.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Side by side, okay, cool. Side by side, that's the easier way anyway. So I appreciate y'all doing that. We're gonna go ahead and go into full screen, so we ain't gotta worry about that no more. But how you doing, Jacques? Doing good?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you moving under such a short notice, man. I hit you up yesterday, and that was pretty much it. So we do things, I guess, around here.
Hey, man, we make it happen. That's what happens when you're friends. We make it happen.
I appreciate that. I want to open the floor up and let you kind of, to the people that, I mean, in reality, I believe everybody here should know who this guy is. But to the people who may not, I mean, give us a little breakdown on who Cousteau Jacques Slade is.
Well, I mean,
and where the name Cousteau came from as well.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna act like anybody knows who I am. I'm Jacques. Jacques Slade. I do videos on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat and all of those other places, mostly about sneakers. I do a lot of unboxings. I do a talk show called Hard Pass. And I love sneakers just like everybody else. And I'm a content creator. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say, Tony. I don't know.
Well, where did the name Cousteau come from? Because I always did want to know about that.
Oh, so Cousteau came from when I was in college. When I was in high school, I rapped, and I was trying to think of a cool rap name. And there's a deep sea diver named Jacques Cousteau, and so I chose that as my online name and as my rap name. And so if you look me up, if you ever want to look up some of the rap stuff that I do, if you look up KU, which was short for Cousteau, from a version of Cousteau, you'll find it.
I didn't want to bring that up, but I always bring it up. I mean, if they wouldn't, maybe at the end, if you feel good, we can let them see some of that. He knows what it is. He knows I always talk about that, man. You guys have seen this Cousteau character in a couple of films. If you just have to look pretty closely, you probably would have missed him on a normal day. But I remember one day I was watching it, and I was like, wait, what the hell? I know that man. But when I first saw it, of course, I didn't know you then. But when I saw it after on a rerun on TV or something, I'm like, yo. And then he didn't want to answer no questions after that. But we'll get into that a little later, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what he always says. So, you know what I'm saying? What was it? Big nut sacks, Big Daddy nut sacks?
I don't know what you're talking about. No such thing.
Okay,
no
we'll
such thing.
We'll leave that for a later date. You feel me? But yeah, as far as coming up, Jacques, you before YouTube, you was doing stuff with, was it Kicks on Fire or writing articles and stuff?
Yeah, so that's how I started. I started out writing for Kicks on Fire, and I started doing video for them back in 2010. So they didn't really have any. They had some video content on their website, but not a lot, and so I started doing it for them back then.
If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to be specific about that, but how much in the ballpark back then versus now, how much do these people, I always wonder, like, how much are people getting paid to do articles usually?
Back then when I was doing it, I was only getting like $5 an article.
Wow.
But that was that was 2009, 2010.
And you were an actor, actor rapper mode back then? Or
I was doing some stuff back then as well. I was doing like commercials and stuff like that back then.
Okay. And then eventually, as it got big, well, do you know, like, nowadays, is it like 100? It could be even more, like a complex art. No clue.
Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea what the writers are getting paid these days.
I got you. But
I imagine it's a lot more than that. I think companies see the value of those writers, and so I think they're paying people a lot more.
Well, not to even try to devalue what you're doing back then. But were they paying you because of you, or were they paying just anybody at that point, or they were looking for specific?
Just anybody.
They were back then, but nowadays the writer matters nowadays, right?
I think the writer has a little more influence these days, especially because there's writers coming from different areas. It's not all just like sneaker writers. There's writers coming from different fields that are getting into the sneaker world or getting into the pop culture world. And so I think that's having a bigger impact on what people are getting paid, because they're getting paid real money in other fields. So they're going to expect to get paid that same thing when they come into the sneaker world. Just because they're writing for sneakers doesn't mean they should take less money.
I got you. And more so into the YouTube and career wise, when would you say, I guess is a two-part question. When did your YouTube career begin, and when did your YouTube career begin? Now, what I meant by that is, when did you start, and versus when did you see, like, okay, this is a career now. Like, I'm going to take this to the next level.
To be honest, I started YouTube twice. So I started for Kicks on Fire. So I was doing it for Kicks on Fire from 2010 until 2013. And then in 2013, I started doing it on my own channel. So I guess 2010 and 2013 is when I started YouTube, and then when I started YouTube. Okay.
And when you started it for the second time, were you automatically like full-fledged, you would say? At that point, was you full-fledged because you kind of transitioned from Kicks on... Was there a gap, or was it straight transition?
I worked at another place, and but I'll leave that out there.
Understood.
I wasn't full time on YouTube. Well, I mean, I was full time in that I was creating like I was full time,
Yeah,
but I was
exactly.
also doing other jobs. I was doing like I was shooting video for like weddings. I was taking pictures at weddings.
Okay.
I was taking
Yeah.
pictures for the city. I was doing like little small odd jobs. I was doing things to make ends meet because I definitely wasn't making enough money at that time.
So what year would that be? 2014, probably.
That was 2013, 2004.
13, 14.
I probably wasn't making enough money to do just YouTube
Yeah.
until probably 2016.
Okay. Now, because I'm just thinking about it, like our dates are very similar in that fashion. As far as like, I would say maybe 2015, 2016 was when the real career paths started for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? It started transitioning from side money, from hobby to side money to full-time career, and we still take it as a hobby and having fun with it. Like people sometimes get it mixed up thinking that it's all about the money. Like we still have the passion, but that goes to show you it wasn't really about how many subs you had at the time or where you were at. It was just more so that time period in general was when the monetization of sneakers on YouTube pretty much started to hit the airways. Was in 2015, 2016, and on top of that, I mean, that's when Champ started, throwing out shoes and seeding began around that time. So it makes a lot of sense that you say that. And me and you didn't officially meet until, I want to say, was it 15 or 16? Atlanta SneakerCon. Was that the first time we met, Jacques, or no?
Was it Atlanta? I don't remember. I think it was
Go ahead.
I think it was at a SneakerCon. I don't know which one, but I think it was at a SneakerCon.
Maybe it was before that. Then I don't know. I just felt like the things when I think about Atlanta, right? I feel like when we talked, we already had met. But then again, like I'm always like that with people. Like if I met you on the internet, when I meet you in person, it's not like a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're the same way as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that was our first time meeting and then it was just like, oh, what's up, Jacques? We've been taught on the internet. We've been, it didn't feel like a initiation or nothing. So that way I can't tell if that was the first time or not. Or maybe if I met you before that, because we were going to a lot of sneaker cons before that as well. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it might have been like at New York or something. The thing was that was significant about Atlanta was that was the first basketball event. So that's why it was such a big thing.
That might have been the first one. I've gone to a couple of I didn't really go into the sneaker cons until I started. It was either that basketball one or when I was working for them and I was doing the behind the scenes, like the day in the life videos for them.
Yeah. Understood. Shout out to God to be a legend, man. I see you in there, man. Jacques, what about running your own site? We relaunched our site last year because we love video games and want to support content creators.
So I started a site originally when I back in 2013 when I was doing YouTube videos. I had a site, Cousteau.com, but I kind of let it fall off. Once I got completely onto YouTube, I let the website fall off, and so I haven't really pushed it.
Same thing, man. Same thing. I had a website where I put my content on, but after a while, I was just like, I don't know. I mean, when you really think about it, it's sad to say this, but websites themselves are kind of like dying out in a way. Like when you're pointing your audience, when you point your audience to another platform, at least. Now, if you have a website and you have all your content on there as its own video, it's different. But when you say you're putting like embedded videos of your videos on YouTube and they click it, I mean, after that video's done, you know how YouTube, the algorithm works. It might not even have you on the next video. So you low key are promoting YouTube and its other content creators on your main channel, so it's, I mean, now as far as a business, like a clothing line or a lawn care or something like that, that's not going out. But the personal website thing, it kind of, I don't know. I do like the one-stop shop idea, but at the same time, I don't know. There's other little type of gigs, like I think this thing called Linktree or something, where you can link you click a link and it has every single social media of yours on there. Those type of things are what people are more so looking at now, as far as on a personal or brand, like a person brand or something like that. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, it's interesting because a lot sneaker content used to live on websites.
Well, yeah.
So from like 2010 when I got started all the way, I would say probably till 2015, 2016, the place that you got your sneaker information was on websites. You went to Complex, you went to Soul Collector, you went to Nice Kicks, you went to Sneaker News, you went to all of those places. That's where we got all of our sneaker information at that time. Yep. However, as Instagram grew and as Instagram and Twitter became more relevant, information started being pushed to those platforms, and so that's where a lot of the information that we get about our sneakers is now for Instagram and for Twitter. We don't get it from websites anymore. The websites are more for like long form storytelling, and there are some older. I would say there are some other people that go to websites to get their information, and I think they do serve a purpose. But as far as like the details that people want now, which is price, colorway, and release date, all that stuff they're getting from Instagram or from Twitter.
Exactly. Like, I feel like we've talked about that numerous times. It takes a couple of hours, believe it or not, to write up an article when a tweet is a click of a button. Like, even coming from the form of us being YouTubers, we can't outdo Twitter or even Instagram, because all it is a tweet. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We can, like, it happens all the time with me. Like, even with me, and like, articles beat me in this way all the time. I'll wake up Sunday night or Monday morning, shoot my sneaker news. You'll shoot your hard pass, drop it, and the next day, the news that you just gave out could have changed. How do you fix it now? How do you fix it? You know what I'm saying? Like, Twitter's gonna be able to. Twitter can. Oh, sorry, disregard the last tweet or delete the tweet. You know what I'm saying? We can't delete those videos.
Right. Yeah.
So,
That's the only thing about video. Like, that forces us. I think it's forcing us into a position where we have to tell stories where people come back for the stories as opposed to coming back for the information. We can make ourselves sources of information on Instagram or Twitter, and then I think also you and I, we're pretty precious with our content. We like high quality stuff, and I think we can, if we kind of let that loose a little bit, we'll win in the long run, because Instagram and Twitter, we can do something real quick just to throw up a video, and then YouTube will be the more, I guess, professionally produced content.
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about that before. I think that's one of the reasons why we're winning so much as we are winning now, because like the articles, people don't like to read as much anymore. And if they want to read, they want quick reading. We want to read a paragraph and be done. But a video, they can sit and let their eyes, like, let us do all the talking. They enjoy that, and I feel like that's where it's basically like newspapers and newspaper and then online, you know what I'm saying? Like, it went from newspapers to online articles. Now it's from online articles to online news, you know what I'm saying? Or online, whatever, videos of people talking about what the articles are saying.
Yeah, but I mean, the video still works though. Like, I mean, look at what Tony's doing. Look at what Seth is doing with their, like, Tony does his, I forgot what it's Tony. I mean, not Tony. I mean, Bull. What Bull does with his like trash or whatever. It's something. I forgot
trash or treasure. Treasure.
Like, he does. Like, he does his treasure or trash. Seth does something similar. Like, I was doing the weekend sneaks and today in sneaks a couple of years ago. So like those, like what they're doing are just like updated versions of that. So they're still getting information out and still doing information about sneakers, but they're coming from they're giving more opinion and perspective, which I think is something that I wasn't doing. I was just giving you more of information. But what Seth and Bull are doing is like they took that format that I was doing and then they like made it more opinionated, which I think is what people really wanted to see. And you see that now.
Yeah, I definitely been, and you know me, Jacques, like, you know, I'm very, very outspoken, but boy, those opinions are starting to matter more and more to people. Like, the people that disagree with me and the people that agree with me, I am starting to understand that the opinions matter so much more than they used to. You know, you could say, I could say stuff back in the day that now if I say it, like, I have a group of people mad at me, and I'm like, bro, it's just my opinion. Like, I'm not knocking you for it, but I think that's something that you, as a creator, me looking from the outside at you, I feel like you've grown a lot too, and you've always wanted to do that. Like, you're more laid back now. You're doing more stuff sitting at the table, chilling, letting people see the behind the scenes. Like, I know you've always wanted to connect more with your audience and not just be the sneaker guy. You wanted to be Jacques. Like, and that's you know, that's and you've done a great job with that. I feel like people need to understand that. Like, people tend to think that with how great your quality is, they think that you are going on set and shooting and then driving home. They're not understanding that you're at your house doing all of it just like everybody else.
I'm at home just like everybody else. A lot of people think just because I was doing it on the white wall that they thought it was like professionally produced, but no, it was just me in my room. You know, just trying to because my goal was to create the highest quality and make it as beautiful and look as great as possible. And you know, it has its benefits. It has, has its ups and its downs, has its pros and its cons. But that's just the angle that I decided to take with mine. But it's, it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, Jacques has always been a very good person with information with me. He's helped me whenever I needed him. Someone I always come to, and there's very few people that I go to seek information from as far as like just business and then YouTube. And he's always been somebody you call, they gonna pick that phone up. Like he's always been like that. And
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think like there's enough for everybody. So there's no reason for any of us to be like, oh, I'm not going to tell you this or I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Like we should all be sharing information, and when we share information, it puts us all in position to succeed. Like my goal isn't just for me to succeed. My goal is for everybody to succeed. And I think that's something that a lot of us probably should embrace more, is like everybody, like there's an opportunity for all of us to succeed. It doesn't have to be just one person. Like for me, the opportunities that I get for me to go off platform and to do things off platform and to host things here and host things there, to me, all that does in my mind is present like, okay, there's somebody from the sneaker world that's going to come along that's going to do even more than me. All I'm doing, I'm lucky enough where I'm able to open the door and able to push the door open a little bit. And now there's going to be other people that can walk in behind me and do way more than I ever did. But if I never told anybody, if I was like, no, this is just me, I'm not going to tell people how I do this, then the opportunities wouldn't be there for anybody.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what I always said. Like, for instance, like, the more people you have on your team, the more opportunities you're going to get. Might not think of that way, but a perfect example is, like, if Jacques wasn't here, I wouldn't have an Xbox One from Microsoft. They wouldn't even acknowledge me. They wouldn't have known anything about me, but Jacques brought Microsoft in front of, sneakers. Like, they started recognizing us. So, like, when you have friends and networks that are working at different areas, they're going to bring eyes to you regardless you think that or not, and that's always like I always like say salute to like people like Bostic and Dels who started this whole thing, and then the people that helped get it from there to. Oh, we got calls coming in. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Somebody calling in.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me make sure I got all this. Hold on. I gotta make sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got too many Google things popping up. Hold on.
People going crazy. They want to talk to you, Tony.
Nah, they want to talk to you, man.
I don't know if it's about me.
All right, cool. We good now. Anyway, we'll take calls in a minute. But so yeah. I mean, like when we first started on the platform to where we were now, it was no monetization at all. But we all brought the money to this to make it more of a career, make it some type of thing to do stuff with. And that's why it's like at the end of the day, like, bro, if it was just one person doing it, like they're not gonna want to just involve that one person. Like the fact that everybody's doing their own thing is very attractive to these brands, and that's what it is. Like if it was just one dude that was taking all the money, getting all the deals from the brands, getting all the love from the brands, you can't find that in any other atmosphere of communities on YouTube that's successful, So it's
and
very
it makes
important.
And honestly, it makes it boring. It makes it less interesting for the consumer. Like that's just, if somebody wants that, like that's their ego talking. Like and it's not about your ego. Like there are different forms of creators that create different types of contents. Like there's like Lyrical Fetish, there's Talks with TJ. Like I love what TJ does. Like she talks about money, but then she also talks about sneakers. Lyrical Fetish, I love like his like almost like honest reveal videos that he does. I love what Nightwing does. Like he's so performance focused and knows all this history about shoes. Like all of these different areas of YouTube, they speak to the different areas of sneaker collectors or people, or the sneaker culture. Like sneaker culture isn't just one thing, and people need to realize that. Everybody thinks, oh, because this is the way I think about sneakers, that's the only way, and that's not how it is. Sneakers is much larger than that.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at everything from where it was till now, like we've all transitioned. Like Nightwing's transition was amazing. Your transition was amazing. Foamers, like mine, Bulls, all of us. Like I mean, back in the day, I used to just do a lot of like, unboxing and vlogs and stuff. Right now I'm vlogging, but I'm also getting a lot of like early looks of upcoming shoes. You've done a lot of, the unboxings, but now you're kind of focusing more on the news itself and trying to bring some type of vlog experience and personal experience to that. Nightwing, he's always done his reviews, but then he I feel like his performance reviews have just went out the world, you know what I'm saying? They've stepped it up a lot, you know what I'm saying? And Foamer, he's been another one of those that's just on top of getting the reviews out, and he's been getting out a lot of stuff. I mean, he gets you everything. So it's been a lot of like transitioning for all of us, but they're all different in their own ways. Like you put us in one box, but there's a lot more than just reviewing shoes. Like everybody's doing their own thing right now. I feel like if anything, people try to put us in the, like we say we're doing a lot of the same stuff. I feel like we've all kind of split up into different sectors more than ever at this point.
Yeah, I think we've all grown, and you see the personalities more, and like the personal creative of each of us. I think when we all started, we all kind of mimicked each other and did things sort of similar to each other in order to kind of just when we were getting started. But now you see the personalities and the individual visions of each person more and more and more. Like Fomer, like speaking of Fomer, like they've really came and defined what it is that they are now. Like what you're going to get when it comes to Fomer. Like when it comes to Seth, he's going to be sitting in that room doing his reviews there. We know with you, we get a lot more character, we get a lot more personality, we get a lot more style with the way that you do it. We know Bull's going to be in the room. We know Bull's editing style now. We know Bull has like that crazy edits and the crazy warp effects on the videos. Like you see all of those things, like with like Sean Go. Like Sean Go does amazing photography and B-roll in his videos, and so like that's what you're gonna get from him. So like there's all of these different things, and we're starting to really expand the world and allow other people to kind of express their own visions.
And to add furthermore into that, where do you see it going in moving forward? What if you had a guess?
I mean, the guess, I think I just see the community continuing to grow. I would love to see a larger voice from women in our world.
Definitely.
We don't have a lot of we don't get a lot of women speaking of sneakers in our world. And there are women out there that are just as passionate about, if not more passionate than we are. I mean, women like Kixology, women like Talks with TJ.
Talks with TJ, yeah.
They don't really do. They don't. A lot of times, the sneaker community, because it's so male driven, it doesn't allow them to flourish. But I think that's something that we need to cultivate more and allow them to be to have a stronger voice, because it's only going to help everyone else when they're able to add their opinions, because they have opinions that we didn't necessarily think of.
Well, to add on that, I definitely agree that I feel like it's male driven, and they're not allowing that voice to be as heard as it needs to be. I also was gonna add on to that though, is that, do you feel like there's not as many women that are just on sneaker YouTube in general? Like do we not have enough of them that are trying right now? Because I mean, me personally, like Talks with TJ is like one of the main ones I know. Feats and Treats is another one I know. I don't know though, like and ladies, Talks with TJ, you're in the chat, feel free to call in as well. How many more creators are there on YouTube right now, as far as female? Do you know any more? Because back in the day, we had a lot more than we had now, I feel like. She got kicks. Go ahead.
Yeah, there were a lot more back in the day, but I don't think they didn't get to really... I think they gave up before it got started. But then also, like, it was, sometimes the sneaker world can be toxic. Definitely. Just think how toxic they are with us talking about sneakers and our opinions. Definitely. Imagine if you're a woman and how they're going to approach it. But I think part of it is us highlighting those women and lifting those women up, and us doing the work to find those women. I think that will help make a difference, as opposed to, and kind of, instead of letting them come to us, we need to seek out those other voices and elevate those. And I think that will help change the dynamic of the world we're in.
Exactly. Because I definitely agree with you on that, and that's something that myself personally needs to, make sure to highlight. I know with working with Soul Play in Atlanta, they've been really big about pushing for women and stuff. And one of the problems that we always feel is, because they want to push a lot of the women on YouTube, there's just not that many of them in Atlanta. Feats and Treats, like I said, is like probably the only female sneaker creator in Atlanta, and they want to focus on more of like sneakerhead females in Atlanta and stuff like that. There are some, but I just wish that a lot of them would start creating more and more channels. And like I said, there are some that already are out there that definitely need to get the push. So it's something I definitely want to start to push and help as well. Even like my girl, she does it, but she likes sneakers, but she got so much other stuff going on at this point. I wish she could, but I want to make sure to help the women that I can moving forward because it's very important, you know.
Yeah,
Just
agreed.
to have the women and have their voices heard. But let me see. Let's see what she talks. For women, you have to understand how to navigate what comes with it, being challenged and being confident you belong. Nah, they are, but they're generally all around style and lifestyle channels, I think. So we see their collection, but not consistent reviews. Understood on that. Cause like Jacques, I know you tagged me in that thing with the ladies on IG. There's tons of sneakerheads on IG and Twitter. I mean, that's where
Yeah.
they're at. They're all on there. You know what I'm saying? If we had them all those ladies were making channels and doing content on YouTube,
Yep.
that's what's insane. There's tons of them on there. Tons. But
Yeah.
we just gonna I hope to see more of them in 2020 and like I said, we gotta find ways to just get that light shined on them. But
Yeah.
going a little bit not too much off the topic, but with whatever things going on with COVID-19, you're in Cali, you know what I'm saying? How has work changed for you on that?
I think the biggest impact for me is focus. Because I work from home anyway, so it wasn't like I was going to an office and I can't go to the office anymore. I always worked at home. So for me, the impact is just more being focused and not paying attention to the news and,
Mm.
getting caught up in that all the time. There's so much that happens on the news and so much that's going on that for me, the bigger challenge is making sure that I stay focused.
Now your daughter, she's not in school, I'm guessing, or she's out of school, right?
Yeah, their schools are closed.
Yeah, I mean schools are pretty much closed everywhere at this point, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Okay,
closed. They're
says
closed basically through the end of the year.
wow. Well, yeah, I mean, what we did have some questions. We had some questions people had sent in as well that I wouldn't mind asking, and then, like I said, we could take some phone calls. But one of the first questions was, "What camera gear do you use?" You
Uh,
can go ahead and break that down if you want.
Cameras I use. Hold on, where is it? I use. This is what I use. So this is the A7 III. This is a small HD, but I use three of these. I have one for my A camera, one for my B camera, and one for the overhead camera that I use for the unboxings. And when I do like my hard pass, it's A7 III. Everything's using one of these.
Yeah, so same camera Jacques guy is the same one that I use, same lens and all that. We use the same camera. As far as mic, that's a Rode NTG, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is the Rode NTG2.
NTG.
Yeah, this is what I use for most of it. Then us I have on the lav, and then I have like the Tascam. I forgot the name of it. The little
D.
small Tascam.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
That same, and then I got that same. Jock actually helped me point me in the direction of that mic. I think I bought the three, but I don't use that as much because of the type of vlogging and stuff. But when I'm in the studio, I try to use it. Definitely really good for as far as audio. That's what we're hearing you on right now, right?
Yeah, this is the mic that I'm using now.
Yeah.
And then I also use like for on camera when I'm doing vlog stuff, I use the Deity V3 Mic Pro, I think it's called.
Okay, is that the Sony one?
Hold on. Let me
I
grab
bought
this
the
real quick.
Sony one though, Jock. I bought that Sony one that when you plug it in on the top, it uses the camera battery.
Oh yeah. No, I don't use the Sony one. It's the Deity.
I found it has two little things on the side. Oh no, wait.
Yeah, I don't use the Deity. I use this one. This is it's the
Okay.
Deity SV Mic Pro. It's basically a small shotgun that goes on the top of the camera. This is when I do
Okay.
my vlogging stuff. But I don't vlog very often. But yeah, it's the
I beat
Deity D3 Pro.
I beat my beat my A7 III up to the point where I got so much stuff going on with it. Like the microphone top is just not even. I had to buy the Sony mic because the mic adapter broke on that camera like 3 times. I don't know why.
Oh yeah. See, I don't do a
Yeah,
lot of vlogging, so I don't really have to. Yeah. But I want to say though that you don't need the equipment that I have in order to create content on YouTube. Like you can create videos that look just as good as what Tony and I are doing, or equivalent to what Tony and I are doing, and probably spend $1,000,
yeah,
maybe. Like you might probably even spend less and have the exact same visual aesthetic that we have.
exactly. So Yeah, like look up Canon T5, T3, like the old, some of the older models, but they're just as good in my opinion. And you could,
Yep.
you could be good to, to get that quality that you need.
Yep.
Got some questions in here. So y'all think the new people can break into the sneaker YouTube, or will they have to do other things also?
Um,
I'll lead a little bit to it and then let you just fully go in. I spoke about this before. I think on the previous stream with Kais and them. The thing is, Fab, this is different. Is that when me and Jacques were coming up, it was a totally different time, totally different set people, and how we were coming up was a different way. Like you can't use those same tactics, maybe some of them, but not all of them, to get to the same position that we are at now. It's a whole nother playing field at this point. You know what I'm saying? We were playing checkers and now it's chess. You know what I'm saying? It's a totally different game. Some of the things like consistency and personality are always going to stick around. But the flow of things is different. Like I stated once before, like back in the day, there wasn't a Jordan dropping so frequently or a sneaker that you needed every single week. Nowadays, it is. You know what I'm saying? Sneakers almost became like technology where every single week, every single month, you got to get the new this, new that, new this. And that requires money. And if you're not having that proper investment, it's hard. But go ahead, Jacques. Let them know what's up.
No, my perspective on it is it's never too late. You just have to bring something. You just have to bring you. Instead, you can't get into it. And this is really just reiterating what Tony said. You can't get into it trying to be one of us. You have to get in it being you, and that's what's going to set you apart, and that's what's going to help you grow. Like, don't expect to come in here and just grow automatically. It happens to some people, but for the most part, it's going to have to be you bringing value to the community that's not already there, or bringing your perspective on value to the community that's not already there.
Exactly. Nah, I definitely agree with that. It's never too late. It's just the answer is going to be harder and harder. There's people that's came in and who are doing fairly well for the amount of time they've been in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I had to talk a long time ago with Sniper Jones. Like Snipe is always someone who always wants to just he's trying to get up there. He's trying to succeed. And I said, yo, Snipe, how long you been doing this? And he told me he's like, I've been doing it for I think he said 3 years or 2 years. I can't remember. Well, on my channel, I don't know if it's still there, but I went through my statistics and I basically went to the same exact date of him versus me. So say it was 3 years, 6 months, and 21 days, right? I went through the same thing on Snipe, and I'm like, Snipe, you got, I think he had maybe 1,000 more subscribers than me than when I was at where he was at. So I'm like, at this point, bruh, you got it. You just got to keep doing it. Some people sometimes don't understand that. Some people look at us and they're not understanding that, well, behind all this and me is 6 years of doing the same thing every day for 6 years. It's no shortcut. There's no anything. It takes 7 years to get to that point. And, if you're already at a certain number and you are higher than where I was at when I was where you're at, I can't even tell you what to do. You need to tell me what you're doing because you're moving faster than I was moving when I was doing it. So,
Right, 100%. And now there's so many ways to create. You don't have to create on YouTube. You can create on Instagram. You can create on Twitter. You can create on Snapchat. You can build a community on any of these platforms. So the opportunities for people today are far better than they were when we first started out, even equipment wise. You can just do it on your phone. Hez Kicks was on his phone forever before he decided to get a camera, and he was growing like crazy. So
Mike Rich still on the phone some majority of the time.
Mike Rich still, yeah. So I don't I have no sympathy for people that are like, oh, I don't have my camera, I don't have a cool camera, I don't have this. There's no excuses for you not to be able to create. You have to want to create. And I think part of it is you have to love what you're doing and you have to want to create, not just want to be, oh, I just want 1 million followers. Because I'm telling you, 1 million followers makes no difference in how people perceive your content. Exactly. I hide my number. My number, I have 1 million something followers and nobody knows that because that's not what matters.
One thing that I see, I'm looking through the comments. Mr. Entertainment, a good guy, a good friend of mine, said it's hard to get in the sneaker YouTube thing. Being new, we need to collab with a big YouTuber. That is definitely a big, huge misconception. You think, see what you're causing to happen is you're gonna bring an audience of people who are looking for something that I'm doing on your channel, and then they're not gonna see that, and then they're gonna watch, and then that's gonna be it. You gotta when you bring your own audience that's connected with you, they're gonna stay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want people just to go in, like, you do a giveaway with somebody, get 5,000 subscribers, and then once the giveaway's done, all 5,000 of them are no longer watching. They're still subscribed, but they're not watching because they were never really interested in what you were putting out there. They were interested in what the giveaway was, and that's about it. Like, that's why it's really important to make sure you're building your audience and not trying to build your audience based upon someone else's, because then you're going to be stuck trying to copy or do what they're doing, and it's just a bad start. You know what I'm saying?
Agree. I agree. And don't get me in to add on to what Tony's saying, being featured on someone's channel, it can help. It can help bring people to your channel and see you who haven't seen you before. But you have to already have quality content in order for them to stick. Like, people always talk about, oh, how do I go viral? How to go viral? Like, going viral doesn't matter. You can go viral and people come to your channel and see you having trash content, and they'll never come back to you again. Like, you have to create quality content with a perspective and your opinion that looks good. And then when you do go viral, or you do have that big video hit, they can go back, look at your channel and be like, oh, I didn't even know about this person. Look at all this dope stuff they've already done.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to subscribe because I see they're already creating quality content. If you just go viral and you get lucky and go viral your first video, people come back to you, there's nothing for them to subscribe to you about.
Exactly. I mean, Mr. Entertainment, the skill is here, the quality is here, the content is here. They just don't know who I am because there's so many others. That's where the thing is that at that point, that's what I'm saying, there isn't a magical key. Like, when me and Bull met each other, Bull was at 5,000, I was at 2,000. And we started being friends, and we just kept doing content, and people saw us in vlogs together, and we shared subs in ways, and we kind of built off of each other in a way. But there wasn't like a person that was sitting at 100,000. Or when we were there, the people that was the highest people were people like Bostic and Dells, and maybe even Nightwing was up there. But it wasn't like, they weren't featuring us on the channel or doing collaborations. Like, in a way, we started at the low end and got up there. Like, it has a lot to do with luck and a lot to do with the algorithm. That part I don't understand. But like I stated, like, being featured is gonna only do so much. I just went on, I guess I went on his channel, but I was gonna say I went on Skip's, and he did an interview with me. But the whole collaboration thing was in its own time period. I don't feel like collaborations do that much as they used to do back when we were, like, remember, like, the first time at SneakerCon, like, after a while, remember we used to do SneakerCon vlogs and be like, yo, people don't really watch them because everybody's doing them. You know what I'm saying? Even though we're collaborating, it was kind of a thing. Like, I just think it's a misconception at the end of the day.
Yep.
But
again, you have to have something to back up that collaboration. Doing a collab and then leaving and not having anything to back it up, that's where the issue is. Make sure you have good content, quality content, so people have something to come back to and subscribe. Give them a reason to subscribe to you. Nobody's just going to subscribe to you because you're on YouTube and because you make videos about sneakers.
Or have good quality.
There's tons of people that do that. What makes you different? What is your perspective that makes people want to watch what you're doing?
And guys, feel free to call in. I'm going to actually call this one caller back right now. I'm testing out this new thing apparently where Jacques can talk to the person on the phone now. So,
we're getting fancy over here. See,
we're trying it. We're gonna see it. Apparently, they can hear
Tony,
me.
Tony, the tech genius over here.
I'm trying, man. So apparently, the person will be able to hear Jacques and me, and you guys can hear everything. Hello. Hello. This is Tony calling you, bro. Can you mute that in the back? All right, I don't know what's going. He didn't know what's going on. He was listening, but anyways, if you want to call in, the number's right there. 404-919-1419. We are taking calls. feel free. Don't be scared. But while we do that, I guess we can talk about some other things. One person in the chat has been really just adamant about this, and I did look at it as well. You heard about StockX's new processing fee?
Yeah, I saw that there's 3%. It's 3% on top of the sales, on top of the cost. Who is that fee going to? That's
going
to
towards
the buyer or the seller?
The buyer.
So wasn't the seller was paying that fee prior to, right?
So yes, as a seller, you pay a fee, but I don't know. Hold on, we're getting a call. I don't know if that. Hold on, let's see what's going on.
Call from.
We good. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, sir. How you doing?
Tony?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah, Tony, I was listening in on the conversation. I was basically saying, like, you got to be, like, consistent and be real, you know, because that's, like, what I see, like.
Did you
I've been
Ronson?
watching, like, these. Yes, sir.
Okay, bet. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, you got to be consistent and be honest, you feel me? Like, you got to be yourself, you know, and be real and authentic, you know, because I seen, like, I watched DDG. I was watching DDG, and I watched DDG, like, from the moment, like, when he came out of Central Michigan, and, like, all he did was stay consistent. You feel me? Consistency is key. You feel me? Like, for you to, like, I even watched you, Tony. Like, I remember when you posted the clip when you had the Jordan 8. The Jordan 8, what those things was. I'm kind of nervous, but.
You good. The chromes or the chromes or the aquas or
the one with Jordan thumbprint on there.
Jordan's thumbprint on the back of the
there was cream. There was cream and gold.
Oh yeah. The championship pack.
Yeah. That's how long I've been watching.
Okay,
I've been watching you and Bull. Like, man, I've been like, man, y'all really like Jacques, Slade. I really like. I appreciate y'all, man, because I love sneakers too. You see, and like I be watching you, you know, and it's like it's so real because it's like when you got people who real and authentic and not being fake. You know, it's like you just appreciate it. You know.
Exactly. No, I appreciate you for your appreciation, man. Do you hear Jacques? By the way, can you hear Jacques? Go ahead, Jacques.
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, dope.
Cool. All right. So yeah, man. Nah, you want to say anything?
Tony's fancy, man. No, I agree with what he's saying 100%. It's about like when you're authentic. I think people relate to that.
Real.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, that's been the main piece of the puzzle is as far as if you keep it in real, people are gonna feel it. They're gonna feel your vibes. A lot says at the same time. So. That is very important.
And you could tell when somebody not being authentic because, like, with me, I could tell somebody being authentic. Like, it's like the way you say stuff. You see, it's like the way you speak and the way you could tell somebody like carry themselves like in a real manner. You know, versus like just trying to like just tell you something just to tell you something. You know, that's like I don't like that. Like, you know, just be authentic. You know, it don't have to be authentic. You know.
Exactly. I appreciate you calling in, brother. You've called in several times, man. So I remember we talked before in the past as well, man. You stay up and stay safe out there. All right.
Much love.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Peace. All right. Yeah. So throw this back up. But yeah. So the fee. Back to what we were saying. The fee was going to the seller, but I think this is an additional fee now. It's going to the buyer.
That's what I don't know. That's what I'm not sure about. Whether the fee. We got another call.
I think this might
call
be
from Kevin. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
Mr.
press 2.
Hold on. Yeah, it is Mr. Entertainment. Yo.
All right, that's Kevin.
Yeah.
Mr. Entertainment.
Yeah. Yo, Kevin. Yo, you got to
mute. My whole name. That's crazy. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yo.
Oh, my bad. Yo, my bad. Yeah. You hear me?
Yes, we good. We're good. We're on.
All right, yes, sir. Go ahead.
To the chat.
Okay,
this is Mr. Entertainment. This is the guy. All right. I don't want to come off like I'm complaining. I really don't. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm. Wait.
All right.
Let me see something real quick, Kevin. Let me see something. Like, look, Jacques, say something to him real quick. I want to see if there's a delay going on.
Yeah, I think there's a delay when I talk to him.
Did you hear that, Kevin?
Yeah, I hear you guys fine.
Did you hear Jacques? Okay, just make sure when you talk, and ask a question, give us like a second or two to respond because I feel like there might be some sort of delay going on. I don't know. We're just trying to figure this out. It's the first time where Jacques can hear you and you can hear him now. So it's everything's set up. It just might be a delay. So let's pause when we talk. Go ahead though.
All right. All right. So I don't want to sound like I'm whining or whatever. This is Mr. Entertainment for those in the chat. So what I was saying was I do feel like collaborations with bigger YouTubers. And what I meant by that was not so much as Tony getting on my chat or on my channel or Jacques getting on my channel, but the other way around. Like, such and such, me being featured or someone smaller being featured on a bigger channel would bring that name up. That's what I meant by that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Jacques?
Yeah. And I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm not opposed to it at all. And I think that's a great idea. But also you have to think, what are you, and, not that there always needs to be an exchange or of something, but like what value, like why is that larger creator going to include you on their channel? Like, what are you doing? And again, this is not at you directly, just in general. Like, there needs to be a value exchange. It can't be like, hey, just put me on your channel. Like, there needs to be something that you're doing that makes that larger creator go, yeah, I really messed with them.
And let me add on to this, Kevin. I'll let you speak after this. Let me just add this on. On top of that, it's also to the fact that, as a creator, believe it or not, we it's like a number almost, like at least a month or at least a year, to the fact that you point someone to something. After a while, man, Tony's always pushing me to go to this person's channel, go to this link, go to that. Those sign-offs, they start to get weaker and weaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've noticed, like I said, back in the day, doing a giveaway or saluting someone or promoting someone's channel, it was way more significant back then than it is now. And I think it has a lot to do with just the fact of, promoting other people's channels or promoting products and promoting this and promoting that. I feel like if you're promoting other things so much, other channels and so much other things constantly, after a while, people are just going to start to ignore that part of the video or that part of you speaking on that. I feel like you have so many shout outs that you can give, in all honesty. And I feel like in return, that's why it's always better to kind of be featured on, have that person featured on your channel, because at that time, if you're a big person on someone's smaller channel, it kind of gives you somewhat of a stamp of approval that, like, this dude's in this guy, Mr. Entertainment, he's fucking with the same big guys out here that are doing it big as fuck. So he, in a way, it almost bigs you up. And this, I hate to say it that way because I don't want to sound big headed, but at the end of the day, if I'm hanging out with Kanye and them, people are gonna start paying attention more to me if I'm hanging out with people that are doing something big in general. I'm not saying I'm Kanye and Jacques Jay-Z. We're not saying that. But if you're trying to get to that level, you being associated with those people is just going to be a good look overall on the channel.
So I feel a little different towards that way because, all right, like for those in the chat who don't know, I think, Tony, you do know I'm friends with Conceited. Like, I talk to him every day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So he's been featured on my channel, I think, twice. He's been seen. He's called in, FaceTime. He's actually have a whole video on my channel. It's done absolutely nothing for Mr. Entertainment's channel. I think I've been doing this for 3 years now. So I think me.
How many subs are you at right now?
Huh?
How many subs are you at right now?
I'm almost at 3,000.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, continue. Almost at. I dropped a video like every day last week. And I put a lot into it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, we're not getting it. I'm not getting anything out of it. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, someone mentioned in the chat earlier, collaborations, and I almost felt like you guys almost shut it down. And I think it really does help. I'll get a lot of people in my DM say, hey, could you feature me? Boom, boom, boom. I have no problem. I just feel like it does help out a smaller channel in the long run.
All right, and I would agree. I would agree with you. I think that it does help out, but you have to have the content to back that up. And
Ooh, that
also think it's
pussy
important that
popping
if
on
you're
a
going to approach,
handstand.
Hold on, Joe. We got a donation.
Nigel
okay,
Antonio
all right,
donated
Tony.
$2
All right.
through Super Chat. Shout
Nigel,
outs come
I
off
don't-
genuine versus product placement.
Shout outs come off genuine versus product placement.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Hold
what
on,
I was
we'll get on
saying
that.
is, I think that in order, like for a collaboration to work, there needs to be something between the two that works, or for you to bring an idea to that larger creator that adds value
definitely.
to what they're doing. If you know what I mean. Like I appreciate, like for me, like if I'm approaching somebody bigger, or if there's somebody that I work with, I don't go to them and just say, hey, can you feature me? I try to bring something of value to them in order to show them that it's not just a take, it's a give and take. I want to give you something and I want to get something in return to show that, again, that I'm not just leeching off of them. And I understand your perspective, and I definitely think you're right that a smaller creator being on a larger creator's channel does give them light and does give them an opportunity to shine. But if you don't have the quality of content first, I think the quality of content is the first thing, and you having your own individual voice is more important than you being featured on somebody's channel.
Definitely. I agree.
Now, okay. So let me just do the math here. Let me just do some math here. So we're gonna break this down. 3 years you've been doing it, and you are at underneath. You said about to hit
About to hit 3.
Okay, so let me just do a quick calculation. Let's just compare it to my channel. Okay, so in a way it's growth in the first 3 years and whatnot. In the first 3 years, you're at 3,000. And I'll be 100. In my 3 years, I was at the 3 years I was at 246,000. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's just see. That's a big difference. There is one thing that I do want to see though, and I'm gonna just make sure. I want to see it for myself. I've been doing this. I would say the first video of mine. Let me just do the little math real quick because I really want to know this one.
Sorry if I'm taking up too much time.
No, you good. You good. I just want to see if this is at all.
No, that's good.
I want to see if this one statement that I'm thinking it might be a problem is a problem at all. Okay. 2014. Okay, so 6. Yeah. All right. So at your rate compared to mine, you've done almost as much as in the first 3 years of my career. If you divide it at least by as many videos I've done now, I can't figure out that same exact number, but the numbers is pretty much around 300 videos, and I think you've done around 200 and something.
Yeah.
Let me see, 200 and something. Just want to compare these numbers to see. 206. So so your 3 years compared to mine, I was at 246,000. You are at 2.9, 206 videos you got, and then for me it's been I had around 300 videos. That's just me dividing 1,700. I have 1,700 videos right now, and that's dividing that by 7. That's whoa. Hold on, that's dividing it by 6. My bad. Whoa, that's what it was. Okay, Mr. Entertainment. In 3 years, I had 873 videos. In 2.9,
oh wow,
yeah, you have in 3 years 206 videos. So this is no shot, but I'm just saying there's a difference. The more videos, the more opportunities. You've been doing this for 3 years, and you got 2.9. When I was doing it for 3 years, I had 800 and I was my bad. I was doing 291 videos a year, basically based upon the calculations.
Okay.
So in that regard, that's maybe somewhat of a situation itself, is the consistency itself. Like I was basically doing 291 videos. It's almost a video a day, and you pretty much have been doing 206 in 3 years. It's a big difference there though.
Okay,
And I
okay.
think, and to add on to what Tony is saying, we're also in a different environment, and
Yes.
you really have to do something that makes you stand out from what everybody else is doing. And I'm not super familiar with your content, but what I can tell you is that make sure that what you're doing is your individual voice, and also the I guess what your goals are. If your goal is to have a lot of subscribers, that's a tough one. You know, if your goal is to educate the community, to be fair, everyone's not going to have a ton of subscribers, but that doesn't mean you don't have a huge impact on the sneaker community and the growth and the path of the sneaker community. So I think that's also something to consider and really look at what exactly it is that you want and what exactly it is you're bringing to the community that's different from everybody else. If you're doing, and again, I'm not familiar with your content, and I don't mean that as a knock to what you're doing, but if you're doing the same thing that 10 other people are doing, then you need to find that one thing that's different, and it may take a while. Like you said, you're on 209 videos. It may take a moment for you, or for whatever it is, for it to click in with you, or for that creative part to hit you where you're like, oh, this is what I should be doing, or this is the angle I should be taking, or this is how I should be shooting my videos. Like for me, the thing that really pushed me over the edge was when I started doing unboxings. I didn't do unboxings for a long time. When I first started my channel, all I was doing was news. I was doing Today in Sneaks and This Week in Sneaks. That's all I was doing, because there were all these other channels doing unboxings. Foamer was doing unboxings, and I think Tony was doing unboxings back then, and Bull was doing unboxings back then. So all of these people were doing sneaker unboxings back then, and so I felt like, man, I can't do that. Everybody else is already doing it. But then I started falling in love with tech channels and how they presented content. And so when I did do an unboxing, when I finally decided to do one, I was like, I'm not going to do my unboxings like everybody else. I'm going to do my unboxings like the tech channels do unboxings. So I'm going to shoot like this really beautiful B-roll. I'm going to have multiple angles when I shoot my unboxings, and I'm going to stand behind the desk. I'm going to do the white wall like Unbox Therapy, but I'm going to make it really beautiful like John does at TLD. And then I'll give the information that Marquez does, but then I'll add like my own little character to it like Austin Evans does. So taking those four things, and I brought that perspective into my sneaker world. And that's the thing that made me different from everybody else. That was the angle that made me different, by me combining those things. So I would say take the opportunity now, where you don't have a ton of eyes and you don't have a ton of subscribers, to really fine tune what it is that you want to create and fine tune the style that you want to do, and allow that to be the lead for you in order to help make you different from everybody else, and use that as a way, as a tool of growth. And also, like, not everybody grows on the same path or on the same way. Like right now, you may not have as many subscribers as you want, but a year from now, once you fine tune it, you may hit that streak, and that's what's really going to change for you. There was a long time for me where everybody was bigger than me. Literally everybody. Tony, Bull, Foamer, who else? Hez, all of those guys were bigger than me. And I thought, man, I'll never have as many subscribers as those guys. But
and go ahead.
Go ahead, Tony.
Oh no, I was just saying, Kevin. So let me say three things and add on top of that. One, like Jacques said, the path. That's my path. My path and your path are gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? You might go faster than me. You might go slower than me. This is not at all trying to knock you, like me saying I had 800 videos versus your 206. It's not me saying you need to go work harder. But what I'm trying to say is, I had 800 videos at 3 years, Kevin. Like that means I had 800 opportunities to hit on that video that was going to catapult me. Because when you hit, you'll know, and it's a wave you ride. So think of it that way. Like, damn, Tony had 600 more videos. I had 600 more opportunities than you in those 3 years to hit. The more every video you put out is an opportunity. It's just like an artist putting out a song. It's a bigger and better chance for you to hit and to actually catapult and ride that wave to where you got to go. Everybody's way there is going to be different. Everybody's the rate of it is going to be different. Sneaker Refresh said a great thing as well. You know, back then back in the day, you know, Kev, like a whole like, yo, these shoes are dope, these shoes are cool, could pass. But nowadays that's not passing. You go look at my old videos, you probably couldn't watch them videos now. I look at it and my energy was dead. I was like, what's up, y'all, man? You know, Tony D checking in. Like, y'all would be depressed watching me back then. Watching me now, like that person, that guy back then probably could not succeed now. It took a lot of transitioning and a lot of building of character and just everything to get to that point. And, you know, those are just the things that are going to go into it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you have such a freedom right now to create.
Oh, let me say one thing, Jacques. What you're saying right now, I wanted to tell him that. You just remind me. And what Jacques just said right there about use this time, he's told me that numerous times. When there's been times where my views went down, Jacques told me, yo, use this time to venture out and do other things. What's the worst going to happen? Your views are already down. Why not use the down views as a time to do other things and see if anything else hits? Because you don't want to do different things when it's working for you, because then you're going to ruin the wave you're riding. So use the down times as the times to find new things to do. He just said that, and that's something he told me. Go ahead, Jacques, my bad. Be right back.
No, that's it. That's all. That's exactly what I was going to say. Just use this opportunity as a time to experiment. Is there an idea you've always wanted to do? Do that now. Is there a new way you want to shoot content? Do that now. If there's a new way you want to approach content, do that now. I talk to TJ a lot, and she's always experimenting, and I'm always pushing her, and I'm always telling her to do this or try this, or she'll just come to me and be like, yo, I'm doing this flat lay like this, or I'm shooting this angle like this, and I'll just give her my feedback and my perspective. But it's the willingness to go outside of your comfort zone and create something that you wouldn't necessarily think you would create, that I think it's going to teach you what you like and what you don't like, as opposed to just being like, no, I won't like that, and not trying it. And two, it'll allow you to put different content out there, and you may be able to find what it is that you like and what resonates with the audience. Like, I had no idea the sneaker audience would like the white background unboxings with the B-roll. I had no idea they would like that, but it was something I was willing to try.
Love it.
Yeah. But enough of us preaching to you, brother. Man, you already know it. You know what it is.
Oh, no. Good, man. Hey, shout out to you guys, man. Thanks for the info and for letting me come in, man. That was awesome. And y'all have a good night, man. I'll stay in the chat, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yes,
appreciate you. Thank
Peace.
you, man.
All right, y'all.
Yep. Some questions we have from people on Twitter. Given the uncertainty, what do you think about the constant releases at a time like this? Yes, some have been postponed, but for the most part, we keep getting constant drops regardless. What does that say about these companies and how they're being money hungry? That's a tweet from someone actually. Okay. So I wanted to ask you that question.
I would approach that as, I don't see it as a company being money hungry. I see it as them continuing their business. So a lot of times we look at this as like, oh, it's Nike. Like, they have money, but you don't understand like how many employees work for Nike, how many families are being fed by Nike selling shoes. Families like yours and mine that some may not have a paycheck coming in anymore. So Nike still needs to have revenue. Nike still needs to make money because Nike still needs to pay people. So yes, they're selling shoes, and it's a difficult time to look at it from that perspective, but it's the same thing with the service industry. Like, I used to be a waiter when I was younger. So I have a certain empathy for the service industry and people that are in the service industry, because a lot of them aren't working right now. A lot of them aren't getting money right now. So for me, it's almost like, yeah, I'm going to support them. So like, I see it the same way with Nike. Like, there's families that are working. There are employees that work at stores that can't go to work right now. And so they have to still get paid. And the way that they get paid is by Nike selling shoes. So I don't see it as a bad place in bad taste. I see it as them making sure that their employees are taken care of.
Yeah, it helps keep the economy going, because there's people out there who might be working from home getting money, and they're spending, and they're fine. Like, there's a lot of people out there here are fine. There's a lot of people out there that are not fine, and regardless of the fact, like a lot of people jump, and we can jump onto that question as well. This is a question I made up, but have gotten it from people in my comments saying, at a time like this, how could you spend money on sneakers? But in a way, I feel like we are kind of helping the economy stay afloat in our own way by spending money, if we have it, on these businesses to keep the cycle going. But the question is to you is, do you feel like we are being careless or not responsible by still purchasing, what's the word, materialistic things like sneakers at a time like this?
No, so I guess for me, I don't see it that way because sneakers is my job. Like my job, YouTube is my job, and my job is to create content. Whether that means I'm buying a new sneaker or I'm using a sneaker that I already have, I'm doing whatever I feel is best for my business. And what's best for my business is for getting views on YouTube and getting people to watch my content. So if that means I need to buy a shoe and talk about that shoe, then that's what I'm going to do. So for me, it's not about wasting my money on sneakers, quote unquote, because for me, this is my business and this is how I run my business. So no, I don't think it's a bad time to be buying sneakers.
Sneakers is my job has been quoted by controversial wolf, Jacques. Slade. Hey, everybody in the building, man. We got Jacques here, man. Make sure I hit that like button if you're enjoying this. This is a great show. How much more time you got on your hands, Jacques? We had 1 hour and 14. I think we could still talk some things. I know you got things you got to attend to at the same time, but how much more longer?
14, you told me we was gonna be on here for 45 minutes.
Nah, I said an hour, man. You can't do a 45. You got to make sure you hit an hour at least. I'm just saying.
No, we got like 15 more minutes. We got 15 more minutes. Let's do it.
All right, 15. So we're gonna go to an hour and 30, man. But nah, I definitely agree with you on that. But what about? What about for the people that are just, like for instance, I tweeted out, man, the coronavirus has been helping me save money. And people tweeted me like, and even Fomer was one of the people who's like, shoot, not for me, not with all these sales. Like, people over here spending money. So for Fomer, it's sneakers is his job. But what about the average consumer? Like, do you think they should be, if they got it, they're good? What do you feel like against what the person?
I mean, I'm not gonna tell anybody how to spend their money.
Exactly.
Like, you work for your money. Do what you need to. I can tell you that I am personally, I'm not spending as much money, and it's really that the money is going different places. So instead of spending money on some things that I'm doing, it's like I'm spending more money on like stuff for the house and groceries and stuff like that. So I'm still spending the money. I'm just spending it in a different place now. So it's not that I'm not spending it. That's still happening.
Exactly. And one reason why you're spending it on the house more is because you're at the house more. And everybody's at the house for. Like your wife's working from home too.
Yeah. Everybody's here at the house, and so like
there's more food that's needed because everybody's not going on lunch breaks, and it's constant.
100%.
So no, I definitely agree with you on that. Somebody asked as far as with this whole situation, do you think the concept of hype survives the quarantine? We kind of talked about this a little bit in the previous stream. I guess the question is diving deeper into the fact that with a time like this, we're starting to realize the priorities of things. We're starting to realize what really matters, and not things like, a pair of Travis Scotts don't matter when you don't have no toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Or paper towel.
Right.
So you think like after everything is done, do we just go back to the same stuff, or does it leave do us as humans like start to realize the more importance of things? What I said to this, and I'll let you finish it off. And what I kind of said was like, with kids and with youngins, those type of things still won't matter to them. Like a pair of shoes is still the world to a 15-year-old, 13-year-old. They think money grows on trees. The parents, on the other hand, are different. But feel free to go on further with that.
I think there is going to be a period during and after this when the hype will not be as evident. I think as a community and as the human race, I think we're all going through something that's going to be remembered for the rest of our lives, and we will approach life outside of the quarantine in a different way. Life will change. Like we don't know what's going to be the normal after this, and as a result of that, I think as we all have become more empathetic because we're all going through this at the same time, that when we exit this, the hype and luxury aspect of life, I think that's going to change. That's going to be, it's not like, it's almost like it's not going to be cool to be hype or for the luxury aspect of life as we exit this. But I do feel that as everyone begins to prosper, that moment will change. I was talking to my buddy Tyler about this earlier today. Like during the Great Depression, even the colors that people wore changed. So people started to dress in more earthy tones as opposed to like the bright and more flamboyant colors, because as a society, we were all going through something. We were all experiencing this sort of suffering. So when you're going through that, you don't express yourself in the same way. You're not as expressive with colors and brightness and things like that. And I think that mentality is going to attach itself to this moment in time that we're going through. So there'll be a moment when things will tone down and we won't be as expressive and as outlandish as we were, as expressive and into the hype as we were before. Hold on, wait.
No, you go ahead. I'll call them back.
When we won't be as expressive and as into the hype as we were before. But I think as society, as we all begin to prosper and things begin to come back to that new normal, then you'll see that expression in the hype, things come back. Because hype is really just a sense of aspiration and luxury. And I think that those mentalities and that ethos is going to be downplayed until we get out of this and transition out of it fully.
So I guess my question to you, this is my question to be the devil's advocate, and because what I think, and you'll agree with me on this, but how would what you're saying make sense? And I totally agree. Like, I mean, I'm not feeling, it's springtime, but I'm not feeling yellows and bright. I'm feeling browns and black because this is the mood. I'm wearing black. You're wearing black right now. But how would that play effect though, Jacques, when the sneakers are already made, the clothing is pretty much already made? They're gonna have to drop eventually.
Well, I don't think it's not about acquiring the product. I think it's going to be more about how we show and display the product and how it's going to be looked upon. Okay. So for me, like, it's great to have a pair of Gucci loafers, cool. But when 6 million people just signed up for unemployment, I'm not looking at your Gucci loafers the same way anymore.
You might be looking at it bad, like you know.
Yeah, and it's no judgment on people that have Gucci loafers or that buy those products. No judgment on them if you have it, and that's the way you want to spend your money. Great. I as an individual, the aspirational aspect and the part of me that before this would have been like, damn, those Gucci loafers is dope. That part of me has changed to where I see that and I go, oh man, like that's a month versus that's rent for somebody that just lost their job.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that, because right now, for instance, if we did a video going out to Gucci and dropping 5 bands, somebody would been like, bro, you could have donated that money to charity. Like, you're a jackass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how people would say it. And I could see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody trying to see that type of stuff right now. Like, they want to see some more of a philanthropist type of thing or deal, at least. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand where you're coming from. I did not think of that, but I definitely can see that concept. Troll Mageddon, you're in the chat. You were actually the one that asked that question, very similar to the one we're talking about now. Feel free to call in and talk to us about that, because that was a good one. Let me call these numbers. Okay, we had somebody calling in. Right now they're calling in. Damn, I'm trying to call that first person back. Hold on.
And just to reiterate on that, like, I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to judge people that spend their money that way. I don't want it to be taken that way. It's more of my own personal perspective of how I look at those things. I saw that MJO23 Dan just left a message about the shaming, and there is no point in shaming anyone. People do what they want with their money. Shaming them is not the answer. It should be what you want to do as an individual.
Yeah. Let me see. I think Slick, is this you? 2. I think we got a call from a damn it. this back. We got somebody from St. Louis calling. St.
Louis.
Yeah. I'm calling you back. Slick.
Hello.
Slick? Slick?
Nah, this is Felix.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay. Nah, Slick, you can call that number. My God, what's going on, Phoenix? Hello?
Oh,
No, this is Felix, Tony.
Yeah, nah, you good. I was talking to somebody in the chat. What's going on, Phoenix?
Felix.
Oh, Felix. Oh,
yeah.
Felix, what's going on, brother? What's going on?
I was just wondering, man. Do you think that the world will go back the way it was after all this is over?
It's gonna. I'm not trying to compare it to this. I'm not gonna compare it, but I want you to get. I want you to get the best ideas possible. This is something like a 9/11 event where, back in the day in the 90s, you could walk with your family member all the way to the gate of the airport, and hug them and kiss them, and then they get on the airplane. You ain't doing that now. You walking with them to security, and it's by there. There's gonna be some type of change going on. You know, growing up in the 90s, you could smoke cigarettes in a restaurant in the smoking section. You could smoke cigarettes pretty much anywhere, and you can't do that now. Like, it's gonna be some type of new norm going forward, and especially in certain states. I've heard in California, like, they're gonna make it to where moving forward, or it was something that was like going to restaurants, they're gonna be checking your temperature before you walk in to make sure that you ain't walking in sick.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some type of norm going on moving forward from this. I don't know how long, but it ain't gonna be, as sweet as you may think. I mean, I even thought, like, Nicole was talking about it, like, about traveling, and I'm like, I don't even know if I feel safe going to another country anytime soon.
So here in St. Louis, they letting 2 people in the store, like at Walmart at a time. Jacques, are they doing that in California in the stores?
Yeah, so in California, they're limiting the number of people that can go into stores at a time. And here in California as well, if a store or a place of business has the right to refuse you if you don't have a mask on. And as far as like the way things will change, I think that the change is going to be a part of the change will be is one, I think we will be more aware of how germs spread and how we spread germs ourselves. So I think that is on a good note, that will be a lot cleaner, and people will be more respectful of how clean they are and when they're in places. But I do think there's also going to be a point of, like, we need to make sure that you are not infected. Like, that's a reality of the world now. Now that this has affected the world and the implications that it has on people, like, I need to know as a consumer, if I go where I need to know that Walmart or wherever it is, this restaurant, that I'm going to be in close proximity to other people, I need to know that they're not letting people that are infected in. Because that has a bigger impact on me and my family. Like, if I'm in a restaurant with somebody that's infected and I go home and my mother, and I go visit I go to my mother's house and I infect my mother, and then she goes to her job and it infects her job, like, that's all the reality of the world today. So I think that is going to be a part of the conversation. And I think people should definitely be aware of that, because until there's a vaccine, that is going to be a reality, and people need to take precautions, because it is literally a life or death situation for some people.
Do you think, Jacques, that this will for certainly be a vaccine that all kids will have to take to go to school from now on in the futures moving forward?
All right.
I'm not sure that'll be the case.
I hear you now, Jacques. You good?
Yeah, I'm not sure that'll. Okay, I'm not sure that'll be the case, but I definitely know that you will probably have to take the vaccine or be acknowledged that you took the vaccine in order to do certain things.
Understood.
Right. Well, I appreciate you, brothers. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I'm a big fan of both of y'all, man. Keep striving to be better, man. Y'all be blessed.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yep. All right. Thank
you, man. I appreciate it.
We had one more call. I guess we can end it off there, and we can kind of wrap it up on our end. We'll take one more call. I'm gonna call this guy back. This is from South Carolina.
South Carolina, throw your hands. It's Bragg.
Yo.
Yo, what's good, South Carolina?
Yeah, man. Tony, what's good? It's the boy CEO.
What's going on, man?
Man, yo, I'm goody, man. I'm good, man. Listen, I'm sorry. I was let me turn my TV down. I was tuning into the stream late. But
good.
hey, Tony, I wanted to touch on something that you put on Twitter.
Okay.
Right, and it kind of had me thinking.
All right.
I
think I meant to ask Jacques this question. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I think somebody had told you something about how you don't get as many views or something like that as people of, I guess, different race.
Yeah.
And it kind of messed with me a little bit. And Jacques, I wanted you to tune in too, because I watched a little bit of your stuff too, and it had me thinking like, damn, like I never looked at it like that. But I'm not sure if you touched on this before, but I want to know your opinion on that. You know what I'm saying, on the stream, because I feel like y'all do equally like as other people. You know what I'm saying, like y'all give good content. You know, y'all give good reviews, but it's like when I look at it, I'm like, damn, I never really looked at it like that. Like, damn, like, you know, y'all don't. You know, when you look at other YouTubers that or different ethnicity, y'all don't get that view rate as them. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, we could touch up on it. I'm gonna go ahead and end the call, and then me and him will end off on that. Is that fine?
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. I just wanted y'all to touch on that because you know what, Tony, I've been rocking with both y'all for a minute, and I never looked at it like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I do watch other YouTubers that, you know, are of, you know, other race, and I don't look at race, you know, personally. Yeah, but I never thought of it like that. So I just want to know y'all's own input on that. That's all.
We'll touch on it. We'll touch on that for sure right after this. Tune in on YouTube now so you can hear the response.
All right, say less. I'm on watch y'all right now.
All right, bet.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that But so when I made that tweet, you know, it wasn't really some people who don't know that weren't reading was thinking that I was saying, you know, man, I'm not getting the views like these other people out here because me and Bull are black. Like I wasn't saying that. Somebody left a comment, and everybody hit that like button on your way in. Somebody left a comment, and I can actually show the comment. You know, I'll actually show you the comment. Actually, I tweeted it back to somebody who was being stupid. It's on Twitter though, but he said, let me put it on here so they can see it real quick. I'll put it over my face. Matter of fact, Tony, you're not watching, but I am. I think they put you in the slow lane sometimes. All the Seth numbers overall are better than you and Bull, and all y'all have more subscribers. I think it's cause y'all black and y'all swear. Even Tom and Sneaker Talk's Yeezy videos do better than you and Bull's. It's weird. You know, that's what was stated. It wasn't that. That's why I raised the question, like, do y'all believe that's true? You know, and Jacques, you liked that tweet. One reason why I decided to reach out and ask, you know, say, do you want to come on the show? And we've spoken about this before, me and you. You know, we've talked about this on a nothing like we're not at the end of the day we're not angry, but I did ask, like, we asked a question, and you know, you could pop it off and answer it however you would like at this point and go forward, and I'll follow up.
So the way that I'll put it is this way: the YouTube algorithm does not know what race you are.
Yeah.
The person that knows what race you are is the person watching the video. In most cases, obviously, depending on, you know, how you look. So the YouTube algorithm is going to recommend or push the videos that people are watching. And if people are watching the content of people, of those individuals, then that's where it's going to push the content. The sneaker world has grown to a point now where it reaches a much more diverse audience. And as a result of that, there are people from different lifestyles and people from different backgrounds that are watching videos now, watching sneaker videos now, and they're going to watch what they relate to the most. And in the current climate, it appears, based on the numbers, and this is not to take away from their content. I do think that, you know, they create good content, and they do great content, and they're consistent with their content as well. That that is more indicative of what people are watching as opposed to what race we are. So it's more of
that boy
what
Jacques just pulled out the TI words on it. Nah, you remind me of TI when he be speaking, but nah, keep going. You good? Keep going.
Yeah, I think, but that's more of what it is. If that's what consumers are watching, it tells you what consumers like.
Yeah. To summarize what Jacques was saying, in other terms, I think to add on is the algorithm is not seeing the color. We know that. I don't believe that. I don't believe the algorithm is like, oh, this is a black guy, this is a white guy. But what I do feel like is, as far as demographics, if you was to break down the demographics of YouTube and who watches YouTube, I think more white people watch YouTube than black people watch YouTube, just in general. If I was to say that. Now, and then you pinpoint that to a sneaker community of, if you have more people, one race watching it more than the other, it may be more of a race watching YouTube than the other. And like Jacques Slade, it's not like they're choosing a race because of what they like more, but they more than likely, a lot of people watch a certain creator because it somewhat resembles them, like their swag or what they feel like they connect more with as far as fashion may go. So for that reasoning, I think that it's more so. I don't think it's like people are choosing a race by choice. It might just be more so something they relate to. People feel like, Tony, you curse too damn much. If you're not a person that curses a lot and you don't like no cursing at all, or you're not going to watch me regardless of the color of your skin. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's certain type of aspects that each person has and characteristics. And for that reasoning, those views are going to go to those type of people. And it's not to say that people that who are watching me are black and that's people that like to curse. I'm just saying that overall, if you break it down to demographics, I feel like there's more white people watching YouTube than black, and there's less. And for that reason, it maybe more or less people that can relate based upon just skin color, and that may watch me or watch Bull or something like that. That's just how I look at it, at least. And I feel like, if you look at 2015 and now, we definitely have expanded and gotten way more creators of color on this platform than back then, and you've seen the increase of viewership along with that.
And again, I think it boils down to the content at the end of the day, because if you look at the tech world, Marquez is the biggest tech YouTuber in the world. Yes. He's black, so. It's all about it's about the content at the end of the day.
Exactly. And even Slick said some people will just also support their own even if they don't care about the content. There are people like that. I've had people say that as well. I mean, I've had people say like, "Yo, I subbed to your channel like on Twitch because I want to help promote other people of color's channels. Like I'm promoting it." So it is what it is. Like, you know, I don't think it's like racism or anything like that. I just think that it's all about relatability at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's just what it is. You know, if you take us to another type of genre, you know, as far as maybe like hip hop or whatever, you're gonna see more people of color there prospering than someone of being white. You know what I'm saying? That's why in hip hop, it's 90% black, 10%. You know, I'm not even saying percentage, but there's way more black people prospering there than there are white people because that's just the genre that they own. So you're going to see that going to different places. Do I think, though, personally, that me and Bull are getting less views than other creators because of color? In reality, bro, like, he's the one that brought that statement up. I promise you on everything. I am a man that I don't give a damn what the next creator is doing as far as on a competition wise. I am trying to do best that I can do. So do I notice or do I care? I really don't care to even think much about it. But there is one thing I will say. Just being a person of color anyway, I feel like in this world we got to do double the work, triple the work, and a lot of things to get the same amount of recognition. That's just being, oh damn, that damn thing got too hot. Maybe I'm spitting too much fire, but I feel like we got to put in a lot of work sometimes, man. You know, just as much or even more. You know, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that the reason why Seth is getting more views than me is because he's white. I would never take that away from Seth. Seth's a great creator. and I'll never take that away from him or anybody who isn't black. Like, I'm not gonna ever say that. I can't do that.
Respect that.
So, yeah. But besides that, man, Jacques, you stayed for over an hour and 30. We're at an hour and 38 minutes. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's show. I think we did a great job. I think that we hit on a lot of topics, a lot of important things as far as YouTube, current events, and everything. And I mean, we could have kept going on and on. Maybe we'll bring you back for another one if you want to hop on. But yeah, I appreciate you coming through, man. And is there anything else you want to hit on?
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Definitely appreciate everybody that joined. I love being able to talk to you guys. A lot of you guys talk to me on Twitter or on Instagram. So I don't do a lot of live on my own channel. So to be able to see it and do it like this, I think is really, really dope. So definitely appreciate everybody. And to Lou in the comments, I can't help you with that. Late night Lou, I hear you, I see you, but I can't help you with that one, Chief. I appreciate you trying though. As always, yeah, appreciate you, Tony. Thank you for having me on, man. I'm glad I got to experience it.
Of course. Y'all hit that like button. If you're watching the playback, feel free to leave a comment down below, share this, hit the like button and all the above. And thank you guys for showing some love. I'm out, man. We out.
All right, y'all.
Peace.